Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
Could you please just tell us your name and your profession?
My name is Hertzy Tepfer. I'm an attorney. I practice here in Brooklyn, and I've been doing so for about 38 years, 40 years, and I keep practicing until I get good at it.
Very good. And I was wondering, how did you become affiliated with the Mentors missions, and how many missions have you been on?
I became affiliated at the urging and recommendation of a friend of mine who lives here in the neighborhood, and he davens with me in shul. It's Avram Zalman Afen. He attended one mission. He's somewhat older than I am. He's probably, in his mid-70s at this point, and perhaps he feels a bit too senior to continue participating. But he kept telling me, "This is for you, Hertzy, this is for you." And he invited me to his home where they had a presentation. I think that Shmuel Bloom was still doing it in those days, and he was there. They showed a video, and it planted a seed. I didn't go immediately and jump on the next plane out or the next mission out, but that was a couple of years ago. And after a while, I said, let me give it a try. Let me give it a try. And I've since attended maybe 7 or 8 missions, I believe. And I've enjoyed each one. Each one has a flavor of its own. Each one has a tempo of its own, and the personalities change, and that's what I'm there for. Not so much the itinerary, although that also is very, very interesting, but I really enjoy the interaction with other mentors, the camaraderie, the friendships that I've developed, and I gain very much, believe it or not, from hearing the presentations of the Rosh Yeshivas, Rabbi Schiller, Rabbi Gottlieb, Rabbi Breidowitz. These are superstars in the pantheon of Jewish leaders and thinkers and speakers of our day, I believe. And I really always gain a great deal just from listening to them as they speak to the mentees, to the students, to the uninitiated. And just listening to their presentation, it does tremendous things for to be mechazik, my own dedication, my own emunah, bitachon, avodah, everything else. They are very, very impactful and very, very influential.
That's wonderful. And what do you see in your experience has been particularly impactful for you or for a mentor? Do you have an anecdote, a story you could share with us, something special that sticks out that in all those years, those eight missions, an impactful story, experience, what you think really ties together the impact of the mentor's mission either for yourself as a mentor or for the mentee?
Well, for myself, I'm going to disclaim I'm not one of the superstars, the highest achiever on the numbers of Bali Tshuva or people that I've influenced there. I think I've developed a friendship with each and every one of the mentees that I've sat with. We spend quite a bit of time just talking about each other and talking about ourselves and introducing ourselves. I try and tell them what it is that makes me tick, that makes me get out of bed every morning excited. First stop being the shul, a little bit of a shir, a little bit of a chavrusashaft, a little bit of davening, and then you're ready for the day. And you can go on, and you can go on through the day with that kind of a perspective. But separate and apart from that, I think I've tried to keep contact with some of them. Some are eager for contact. A recent mentee that I had in the most recent mission did keep contact with me, and then he called me and asked if he could stay here for Shabbos. They came to the Or Sameach Shabbaton in Brooklyn, here in Flatbush. So we reacquainted, touched base with each other. I think he's doing very well. I've had previous mentees that have gone on to continue with the yeshiva, Or Sameach, or other yeshivas, and some that have not, but they've still become more dedicated, more consciously Jewish, and more dedicated to trying to maintain small aspects, whether it's wearing tzitzis during the course of their exposure to an otherwise secular day, secular schedule, secular environment. They're doing little things to continue to, hold on to a touchstone whether it's wearing tzitzis or yarmulke or davening at least once a day, or trying to keep in touch with the things that were stressed and that they were impressed with on various missions. That's basically it. I must also say that my wife is a big part of my continued interest and dedication to it, because she has such a good time coming along with me. She participates in some of the trips, some of the excursions. She listens to as many of the speeches and shiurim she can, mostly over Shabbos. Shabbos is when she hears them, and she too is very, very much moved and impressed by the level of thought, the level of thinking that goes into each one of the Rabbanim's and Rosh Yeshiva's presentations. And she has developed several very, very close and fast friendships with wives of the other mentors. And when we go along on some of the trips on the buses, whether it's the overnight trips or spending the Shabbos together with the mentees, the ladies have bonded with each other, and they look forward to coming back. They have a little chat, and several shidduchim have been read throughout among the ladies, among the respective sons and daughters of the mentors and their wives. And she maintains closer contact even than I do with the mentor, with the other mentors. She does so with the wives. It's a very, very beautiful type of symbiotic relationship that both husbands and wives have a very, very wonderful time, fulfilling time going along on these missions. I would very highly recommend it. Whoever is interested, just tap a friend of yours on the shoulder if you feel like you can't integrate with the. By the way, it's multi-generational. It's not just the old graybeards like myself that go along. We have a wonderful young contingent. In fact, they're now sort of outnumbering the senior mentors, and the youngsters have a more wonderful time. They do more of the rafting and the bungee jumping and the extreme hiking, and the jeeping and all of the other stuff that's fun. They participate more wholeheartedly than I do with my flat feet, but so they certainly give each other a good time, and I would recommend it to anyone of really any age that can afford the time and the airfare. That's all it really takes, and to participate, and they will really find it very, very fulfilling.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your perspective. I really appreciate you spending a little time with us at the Mentor's Mission.
Okay, it was a pleasure.